Donald McPherson earned the Congressional Gold Medal and 3 Distinguished Flying Crosses during his service as a U.S. Navy pilot aboard the aircraft carrier USS Essex in the final battles of World War II. Donald McPherson, believed to be America's last surviving ace from World War II, passed away on August 14, 2025. He was 103 years old. McPherson earned the Congressional Gold Medal and 3 Distinguished Flying Crosses during his service as a U.S. Navy pilot aboard the aircraft carrier USS Essex in the final battles of World War II. McPherson enlisted on January 5, 1943, after the Navy waived a 2-year college requirement for its aviation cadet training program. He earned his commission and wings at Corpus Christi, Texas, on August 12, 1944. He was assigned to fly a Grumman F-6F Hellcat fighter and was a part of Fighter Squadron 83 when it was transferred to the USS Essex in March 1945 during the battle for Okinawa. On his second evening aboard the Essex, McPherson recalled watching Japanese kamikaze bombers based on Kyushu in southern Japan attack the fleet. One bomber clipped the Essex's radar tower before crashing into a nearby island. Another bomber seriously damaged the USS Hancock. "This sure made us wonder what we had gotten ourselves in for," McPherson recalled. McPherson completed his first combat mission, a 300-mile flight to strike on an airfield at Nitagahara, on March 19, 1945. During the raid, his division, known as Wonder 5, destroyed Mitsubishi G-4M Betty bombers on the ground. As he was pulling out from the attack, his plane's engine stalled, and it was struck by anti-aircraft fire. McPherson was able to fly the plane back and successfully land on the USS Essex. Upon inspection of the damage to the airplane, we found that a 20mm cannon shell had penetrated the fuselage about a foot behind my back and severed one of the cables that controlled the tail surface, he recalled. Between March and June 1945, VF-83 flew 6,560 sorties from the Essex. McPherson's group was credited with destroying 220 Japanese planes in the air and 72 on the ground. McPherson would become an ace after shooting down 2 Aichi D-3 Aval dive bombers near Kakaishima off Okinawa on April 6, 1945. He would go on to destroy 3 Kawanishi E-7K float biplanes which were flying as kamikazes on May 5, 1945. McPherson was able to marry the love of his life, Thelma Johnston, on August 17, 1944, after completing his training. After the war, he returned home to Adams, Nebraska, to work as a letter carrier. He is survived by his 2 daughters, a son, along with many grandchildren and great-grandchildren. McPherson was an active member of the Adams United Methodist Church, as well as the local American Legion and Veterans of Foreign Wars. He also served as organizer, promoter, and coach for the Adams Summer Baseball and Softball Leagues. The Associated Press reports that the community later named the ball field McPherson Field in honor of him and his wife. Donald McPherson, widely regarded as the last surviving American World War II ace pilot, passed away on August 14, 2025, at the age of 103. McPherson, whose extraordinary contributions to the war effort were honored by multiple military awards, leaves behind a legacy that stretches far beyond his heroism in the skies. His passing marks the end of an era for a generation of American war veterans whose bravery helped secure the Allied victory in World War II. McPherson's journey from a young aviator to a decorated hero is a testament to his courage, skill, and dedication to duty. During his service as a U.S. Navy pilot aboard the aircraft carrier USS Essex, McPherson flew into some of the most perilous battles of the Pacific Theater, earning multiple accolades, including the Congressional Gold Medal and 3 distinguished flying crosses. Donald McPherson was born on January 13, 1922, in Adams, Nebraska. His entry into the Navy during the height of World War II came in 1943, when he enlisted on January 5th, despite the Navy's usual 2-year college requirement for its aviation cadet training program. The war had created a pressing need for pilots, and McPherson's determination to serve led the Navy to waive the standard education requirement. It was a decision that would ultimately make McPherson one of the war's most skilled and respected aviators. McPherson underwent his flight training at the Naval Air Station in Corpus Christi, Texas, and earned his wings and commission as a Navy ensign on August 12, 1944. Upon completing his training, McPherson was assigned to Fighter Squadron 83, VF-83, and embarked on a new chapter in his military career, flying a Grumman F-6F Hellcat fighter aboard the USS Essex. The USS Essex was one of the most important aircraft carriers of the war, serving as a launch pad for many of the Pacific theater's most critical missions. McPherson's squadron was deployed during some of the final, pivotal battles of World War II, including the Battle of Okinawa, one of the bloodiest engagements of the war. As an ace pilot, McPherson would prove himself in combat, earning accolades for his valor and skill under fire. In March 1945, McPherson's squadron, VF-83, was transferred to the USS Essex just as the Battle of Okinawa was intensifying. The war was reaching its final stages, but that did not mean the fighting was any less dangerous. McPherson's second night aboard the Essex was marked by a terrifying experience as Japanese kamikaze bombers launched an attack on the fleet. The planes, which were part of Japan's desperate attempts to turn the tide of the war, were a formidable threat to the U.S. forces. McPherson vividly recalled the chaos of the attack. One of the kamikaze bombers clipped the radar tower of the Essex before crashing into an island. Another bomber severely damaged the USS Hancock, McPherson said. It was a sobering moment, and we couldn't help but wonder what we had gotten ourselves into. Despite these daunting experiences, McPherson and his fellow pilots pressed on. His first combat mission came on March 19, 1945, when he took part in a daring 300-mile strike against a Japanese airfield in Nitagahara. The mission was a success, with McPherson and his division, dubbed Wonder 5, destroying several Mitsubishi G-4M Betty bombers on the ground. However, not all went smoothly. As McPherson was pulling out of the attack, his aircraft was hit by anti-aircraft fire, causing his engine to stall. Undeterred, he managed to navigate the damaged plane back to the Essex and make a successful landing. Upon inspection, it was found that a 20mm cannon shell had punctured the fuselage just a foot behind McPherson's seat, severing one of the cables that controlled the tail surface. The close call was a sobering reminder of the perils of aerial combat. Between March and June 1945, VF-83 flew over 6,500 sorties, during which McPherson and his fellow pilots were credited with destroying 220 Japanese aircraft in the air and 72 on the ground. It was during this time that McPherson would officially become an ace, a distinction given to pilots who shot down 5 or more enemy aircraft. On April 6, 1945, McPherson downed 2 Aichi D-3 A-Val dive bombers near Kakaishima off Okinawa. Then, on May 5, 1945, he scored 3 more victories when he shot down 3 Kawanishi E-7K float biplanes that had been launched as kamikazes. These actions solidified McPherson's status as a decorated war hero and an elite fighter pilot. While his military accomplishments were remarkable, McPherson's personal life was equally rich and fulfilling. He married Thelma Johnston, the love of his life, on August 17, 1944, shortly after completing his flight training. After the war ended, McPherson returned to his hometown of Adams, Nebraska, where he started a new chapter in civilian life. He worked as a letter carrier, but his impact on the local community extended far beyond his job. McPherson was deeply involved in his community, becoming an active member of the Adams United Methodist Church, the American Legion, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW. His commitment to service was not limited to the military. He also served as the organizer, promoter, and coach of the Adams Summer Baseball and Softball Leagues. His dedication to the youth of his community led to the naming of the local ball field as McPherson Field in honor of him and his wife. In the years following his retirement, McPherson continued to receive recognition for his service and sacrifice. He was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, an honor given to individuals who have made significant contributions to the country, and was also the recipient of 3 Distinguished Flying Crosses, one of the military's highest honors. Donald McPherson's passing at 103 years old marks the loss of one of America's greatest war heroes. His extraordinary service during World War II, his courage in the face of unimaginable danger, and his lifetime of contributions to his community are a testament to the values of duty, honor, and selflessness. Survived by his 2 daughters, a son, and many grandchildren and great-grandchildren, McPherson's legacy lives on through his family, his community, and the countless individuals whose lives he touched. As the last surviving ace of World War II, McPherson's passing marks the end of an era for a generation that fought and sacrificed to preserve the freedoms that Americans enjoy today. In a time when the world was at war, McPherson's skills in the air, his bravery, and his leadership under pressure helped turn the tide in the Pacific Theater. Today, his contributions remain an indelible part of American history, and his passing is a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by the greatest generation. As we remember Donald McPherson, we honor not just his wartime achievements, but also his lifelong commitment to his family, his community, and his country. In the words of McPherson himself, it was an honor to serve, and it was an honor to return home. Though his time on Earth has ended, the story of Donald McPherson, a true American hero, will live on, inspiring future generations to serve with courage, integrity, and honor.